I am fighting for my respect out there on the track.
Yes.
I used to be feared on the track, and there was a certain level of respect that took place. That hasn't been there in a couple years. I can get serious too quick, so I have to work hard to relax and have fun.
You have to be purposeful about having fun.
My first die-cast car, so proud of it, so ready for it to show up. The packaging shows up, and it was spelled Jimmie.
No, it's not.
When we're walking out right here, we realize what it looked like.
Oh, no. Oh, man, it looked terrible.
Inside there, it didn't.
It did.
We're just chatting like we normally do.
Yeah, I know.
Tried to skate with Mike Madonna for a Texas
did you
race
really?
thing. Yeah, a victory tour thing, and it's awful.
So we can find that if
you can find it. It's
Jimmie
out
Johnson
there.
skating, not good.
I was flying on the carpet when I had to step off the carpet onto the ice. It was a whole
You immediately knew, I'll never be an NHL player.
Compelling stuff on yesterday's Motor Mouse with Jimmie Johnson. He settled. I mean, he had a little bit of everything. He covered a lot of territory.
He was all over the place. He was very open. It was cool to see Jimmie in that setting to come on Motor Mouse. And I think that, some of the parts were so incredible. Him talking about lacking respect on the racetrack. I know, as one of the guys on the racetrack with him, I've always give him respect, but I know what he's talking about. When you start to fall out of being that dominant car, there's the competitors around you know that. They sense that, and they sense a vulnerability, and they know to take advantage of it. That's the essence of competition. So interesting to see him talk about that, and he just went over a wide gamut of things. It was very cool.
It was cool, and you can go to NBCSports.com right now if you want to keep that conversation more. You want more Jimmie Johnson right now. Nate Ryan has an article where Jimmie talks more about his future. Might be pretty enlightening. And Jeff Burton has a special driver-to-driver interview with Jimmie that will air in Sunday's pre-race show on NBC. All right, let's go ahead and bring in, keeping the conversation going, let's bring in Sirius XM's Pete Pistone. I would imagine, is Jimmie Johnson one of the topics that your listeners have been talking about?
He is, Krista, but here's the two things that the listeners talk about. One, the obvious, right? When's Jimmie Johnson going to win again? The guy that has not won a race in 90 races, it's a slam dunk NASCAR Hall of Famer the minute he hangs up the helmet. When's he going to win again? And things have been trending in the better direction. I think that's fair to say for the 48 team. But the second part is what comes up more often. How long will Jimmie Johnson be a full-time Cup Series driver? I was just reading the story you referred to that Nate wrote, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do. And I believe it's not going to be so much the business side of this, because I think Ally, the sponsor, Rick Hendrick, the owner, will let Jimmie Johnson run as long as he wants to run. I think it's going to be a family decision. I think Jimmie's going to sit down, as he said to Nate, and decide between his two daughters and his wife what he wants to do in the future. And I think that that's going to be the deciding factor of if Jimmie Johnson wants to run full-time for the next few years or step away. So I think that's what the listeners want to know. How long are we going to see Jimmie in that 48 car, and when is that decision going to be made?
Hey, motorsports fans, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe before you go for all the latest news and highlights across motorsports.